Today I'm going to answer a question that I get so often that I have to address it, and that is accounting truly boring? And I swear I'm not going to take offense to that question, and I get where that question is coming from, but I'm going to give you kind of 3 things why I think it's obviously not. I've been doing it for 8 years and counting, and I will continue to do it for a prolonged period of time. I don't know how long, but I'm pretty sure forever. So, okay. I'm going to go over a few things why I don't think it's boring. I do think obviously it can be sometimes, but I'm going to give you 3 things on how you can kind of utilize and make the career the best you can while studying accounting. Obviously, maybe some of you come onto this video not knowing if you want to do accounting long term, and hopefully after this video, I kind of persuade you to take that route. So first off, you make accounting what it is that you want. And when I say that, I mean you can make accounting whatever it is that you want to do. And when I was in college, and I remember I took my first financial accounting class, I remember taking my first class and thinking, oh my gosh, like I get to review debits and credits. I get to review companies' financial statements. I get to review companies' transactions during a month or during a year, and then provide financial statements to the business professionals or business owners or whoever's going to drive decisions to be able to help the company continue to grow. And I was like, man, that's pretty awesome. Like, I think doing that for a living and a job would be pretty fun. I had no idea what CPA was. I had no idea about accounting firms. I had no idea about nothing. I just knew that I thought that was pretty interesting. As opposed to when I took my first tax class, I absolutely knew that I hated it. I absolutely knew I wanted nothing to do with taxation. Although obviously, I do know basic tax fundamentals and things that I had to learn to pass a CPA exam. But overall, I knew right away that tax wasn't for me. So especially when you're in college or even in the beginning stages of your career, I'd say anywhere from 1 to 3 years, even after graduation and you're working at either at a company or at a public accounting firm, decide what you want out of your accounting career. Look at things that you like. Look at your own personal interest and who you are as a person, and start lining up your career, your job title, or a certain position in the things that you're strong at. I, for example, even in college, I knew that I like doing this. I like talking to people. I like meeting new people. I like working with different people. I like traveling. So started asking, is audit or tax more, does that line up more with who I am and what I like to do? And obviously in audit, you work a lot more with the client face to face. Not that you don't do that in tax, but in audit, you definitely do that more so. You work with a lot different teams. You're always traveling. I thought, looking at financial statements and a more of a financial analysis perspective as of just tax laws and regulations, I always had more fun with that. So I knew audit was probably the more correct choice for me. And now 8 years later, I am very happy I made that choice. Again, second thing, do something that interests you in audit. Do something that interests you in accounting. Obviously, as you can tell, I'm an auditor and I'm going to try to sell you on audit, but I think you need to do something that really interests you. And, if you're in college, this may so not apply to you, because I always recommend people, especially in their first 2-3 years outside of college, I definitely want you to learn the basic fundamentals of audit and some tax. Obviously, if you're a tax, then vice versa, right? I want you to learn the basic fundamentals of tax and then some audit or accounting financial concepts. But for me, for example, if you take the audit route or more financial accounting, you definitely 2-3 years in, you need to learn the basic fundamentals, debits and credits that are going to help you carry yourself into whatever career or pivot you want to move. Because I've seen so many times in my career, if you have strong basic fundamental understanding of financial statements, debits and credits, financial accounting, analysis, being able to look at different accounts, being able to drill down trial balances, you can literally leverage those and pivot those and use those skills into another different position or something that might interest you more long term. For example, I did a rotation in transaction advisory when I was 3-4 years in to a public accounting firm. I loved it. I didn't end up doing it full time, but because of the skills that I built my first 2-3 years of my career, and definitely knowing and being a master at debits and credits, I was able to leverage those skills into something else that obviously I came back to audit, but I could have maneuvered or pivoted. As you all know too, I was a corporate controller for a year at a company, at one of my clients actually. And it was great. It was a great experience. I loved it. And I wouldn't have been able to use the skills that I built my first 6-7 years of my career and took that position outside of public accounting if I wouldn't have built the basic fundamental understandings and the building blocks that I did my first 2 years, which obviously more so than not was really exciting, frustrating, and painful, but sometimes it was a pain in the butt. It's just like anything. Anytime you grow and you put yourself in a position where you're going to be developing yourself, it's going to be difficult. And lastly, As you grow in your career, you can always pivot into whatever else you want to do if and only if you build the really solid skills and fundamental understanding of whatever it is that you do. Obviously, with me, I'm very biased and I always talk about audit and financial accounting, but the same goes for tax. I've had many friends of mine that started in tax at different accounting firms and now have their own practices, are now tax directors at companies. So as long as you use your first 2-3 years in your career to really leverage your skills to then pivot into whatever it is you want to do, you can make accounting work for you. You can make accounting be whatever it is that you want to do. You don't need to just sit at a desk all freaking day and just, be a senior accountant for your whole career. You can take accounting to whatever it is that you want to do. I've met so many people in my career that, became investment bankers or private equity or whatever it is that they do now. And they are so thankful and so grateful for the accounting background that they have, because they wouldn't be able to do what they do now if they didn't have those first 2-3 years in accounting. So is accounting boring? It can be. It definitely can be. And I've experienced it and I've seen it in my professional career where some people, don't utilize their career to the best of their potential, and they don't try to get the skills necessary to be able to do something that maybe they really want to do, just to have the basic fundamental understanding. So it definitely can be, but your career, and just like anything in life, it is what you make of it. If you make the best of it, if you use your time wisely, if you use your time to build your skills, build yourself, and then maybe use those skills to pivot and maneuver into an industry, into a company, into something that you really want to do, whether it's entrepreneurship within accounting, working at a big company, or being a partner at a big firm, your career and accounting is what you make of it. And obviously I obviously don't think it's boring, but that's going to be up to you, and hopefully you can utilize the things I talked about in this video to make your career the best thing that you ever do.